Hi, I'm Maki, and these are my top 2024 games. I hope you enjoy the video. So, Astrobot, where do you begin with the game that is best experienced, the less is talked about? After I played Astro's Playroom when I got my PS5, I had fun, more than expected. I'm not a huge fan of the platformers, but they feel like one of those in the middle of the big titles kind of games, where you just want to spend some time with the game while prepping for the next big thing. Astrobot felt more than just a game in between, and gotta be honest, it really did grab me. I really loved the feeling and the look of the levels, the fine engagement with the physics and the particles, all enhanced by the controller. They really made a joyous experience. Music is catchy and contagious, Astro's movement is precise and smooth, and the levels, mechanics and design, while not completely super crazy and new, felt great and were really engaging and fun. The challenge levels especially kept me engaged with the movement. They required momentum. I gave up on some of them, but altogether, the game was an absolute joy, and I hope Asobi keeps making fun games like Astrobot in the future. Final Fantasy VII is my first ever JRPG and one of my all-time favorites. But as my friend used to say back in the day, the best Final Fantasy is the one that you're currently playing. That was when the only things we were playing were JRPGs. Old Squaresoft was pure magic. When they announced the remake, I was really excited. That is the one thing that we were all hoping for. Remake was amazing even though it had only been a piece of a whole. It did some strange things narratively that got me nervous, but Rebirth straightened it out and it all clicked. The work on the characters and the world is top tier. The glow up the characters got, true to the original and elevated by technology, and the magic of Cosmo Canyon and Gold Saucer and other locations was unbelievable. The combat is just absolutely fluid and engaging, upgrades meaningful, and the different playstyles made me jump around between characters frequently. I never got into a standard "this works" framework, and really just wanted to test things out. One thing that really stood out were the minigames, the ridiculous amount of them and quality. Queen Blood even got my old triple triad addiction back. The game has some slight issues. The pacing of the story near the end gets a bit sped up, and the repetitiveness of the open world gets boring really fast, especially after the Gongaga area, which was horrible. But the game as a full package is all a Final Fantasy fan could ask for, and I'm really looking forward to the part 3. In recent time there has been a lack of old school turn-based JRPGs. Atlus has been holding that torch for me with Persona 5, which is one of the best games I have ever played. So when I saw that Atlus is publishing Metaphor, my phantom senses all spiked up. A fantasy take on Persona game sounded so appealing. Metaphor is a beautiful work of art, from the world, enemies, characters, and of course menus. The story, characters, and the problems that it introduced kept me engaged, and I really loved the sense of the journey. Visiting the places around the world, rushing on your gauntlet runner, chatting with your companions as the world rushed past by you, and even engaging with an ambushes on the deck of your runner. The combat was a true standout. The amount of archetypes and the fact that you can change them on all of your party members was a real step up from Persona. The amount of build variety and combinations with archetypes and inherited skills never got boring. The turn icons and their management felt fun and new. I even managed to make Heizmei an invasion tank that would take enemy actions icons when he evaded. In true Atlus style, the game is just bursting with energy. Metaphor is an absolute magical journey that even Hieronymus Bosch would be proud of. Balatro or Balatro. This game really caught me by surprise. I never expected to get such a fix from a poker-like roguelike game. Game just plays flawlessly. The amount of combinations on jokers, tarot cards, decks and difficulty modifiers keeps you going, and the amount of choices in gameplay is one of the things that makes a great roguelite great. And one thing I really love about roguelikes is getting better at the game the more you learn about its mechanics, not just getting better upgrades. Balatro's smooth gameplay, chill music and addicting loop kept me learning in run after run. You know you're in for it if you just jump in a new run, regardless if you won or lost your previous. And just as I was getting my fill of the game, of course it came to mobile. More Balatro on the go, for life it would seem. It is really crazy to me that this game was made by one person. What an absolute gem of a game. Live service games are type of games that I usually avoid. So when I saw the trailer for Helldivers 2, I thought it looked fun, but I was really not that interested. Then I saw the streamers and the shorts for the game and something stirred. The hype was starting to become overwhelming and of course I caved in. First solo and then friends got in too, and we went full managed democracy from there. It is crazy how a game can just take you by surprise and consume your attention. I got glued to the screen. Everything about the game consumed me. The gameplay, the feel of the guns, worlds and different objectives and stratagems. The party builds were never there unless you wanted to engage in them, and the different factions, now with Illuminate, felt different and required different approaches. But the best thing about the game is the fantasy that it sold. There was, and still kinda is, something really special about the roleplay, the immersion, the cinematic moments, and just being a Helldiver. This is why the eventual nerfs hurt so much, not because we were weaker, but it felt like we were being betrayed by the Super Earth. I'm so glad they fixed that. I still play Helldivers 2, and will be playing it for quite some time. If nothing else, just to jump in couple of hours after a patch, or whenever I feel the urge to spread managed democracy. Helldivers 2 is an absolute masterpiece, and it is my favorite game of 2024.